Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. Fulham 0, Everton 0. A pretty dreadful, dreadful second half. It was a dreadful second half. I thought Everton started the game okay. I thought we came out okay. Had some chances. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin missed a really decent chance when Gray got the ball over to him from wide areas, and I think at first half it was a pretty even contest. They probably think they should have had the lead, but I think we probably should have had it as well. Second half, very poor. I don't really know what happened to the second half. I think we just like sort of retreated. We couldn't string two passes together. We kept on losing it in the midfield. They had loads of energy. They had loads of the ball getting wide. I mean, their tactic all day was getting it wide and getting into the box, and basically they overloaded us on both sides. And I thought Mykolenko dealt with that really well. I don't think Seamus Coleman dealt with it as well, and also the players in front of them had to do their job, and I don't think they did. So second half, I think we were very lucky. They had 10 shots off target in the entire game, 6 shots on target, and they had more of the possession. By the way, I do not care if Liverpool are getting beat, so please just stop putting in the comments. I couldn't care less. But I think the game, for me, didn't swing on it, but a big, massive moment in the game was the non-red card for Mitrovic. I thought it was absolutely shocking. I thought it was an absolutely shocking stamp. I'm not stamp, because I don't think he intended to stamp. But a shockingly late tackle, and I think that to me should be a red card in the Premier League these days. If you're late and you stand on someone's ankle, it should be a red card. And I think moments like that are so important in games like that, because people can say, well, they should have had a penalty or whatever, but they're 50-50 moments. For me, that's not a 50-50 moment. That is a blatant red card as far as I'm concerned. I've seen them given in other games, and if they've been given in other games, then they should be given in every game. If you come in late and you stamp on someone's ankle effectively, then it should be a red card. It really should. And 10 versus 11, we win that game of football. No issues. And whether we deserve to win it is a different thing. For me, it's a blatant red card. People might say, well, it's not a red, but it is a red, because if you're late and you miss the ball by that much and you stamp on someone's ankle, then it's a red card. And it doesn't matter whether it looks worse. It doesn't matter in slow motion. It doesn't matter. The game nowadays is about protecting players. And for me, that is just a clear red card. An absolute clear red card. And that, Mitrovic, if he gets sent off there, that changes the game completely. And I think we go on and win it. But that's not the reason why we were poor in the second half. I think, as I said, first half was quite even. I think Calvert-Lewin should score, really, from Gray's cross. But second half, we had absolutely nothing. We played on the counter-attack, and Gordon and Gray were really poor. Really poor. They're supposed to be our outball, and neither of them did anything. I'm amazed again, like Newcastle, that Anthony Gordon managed to stay on the pitch. I'm absolutely amazed by that. Stayed on the pitch before Gray. I know he went off late on from Alpine, but I was absolutely amazed by that Gordon was Gray was taken off, and he was kept on the pitch. We need more. We need more. And Gordon and Gray were absolutely abysmal second half. That put more pressure on the midfield, because those three then had to start, certainly, two of them had to start coming wide. Onana was on a booking as well. He obviously decided to take Garner off and brought James Garner on. I think it was right to take someone off in the subs. Maybe I would have took Onana off, and I know we probably kept him on because of his height, but I would, maybe if they were the same height, I would have took Onana off, because I think, again, I think he did what he did at Newcastle at times, which is slowed the game down and allowed Fulham players to get on top of him. And they had certainly had a lot of energy in the midfield, hell of a lot of energy in midfield. They were breaking down our play. Iwobi was pretty much anonymous in the game as well. And it just goes to show, 2 weeks, the difference between the games. Last week, loads of energy, obviously playing on the front foot, playing at home. But it really shouldn't be a difference whether you're playing at home or playing away. If you've got a style of play, you should be able to stick to it. And this is often the downfall of Everton managers, actually, is not being able to get the way they play at home away. I think what Frank's got going for him is the atmosphere is so good at home, and it's not a guaranteed win by any means playing at Goodison Park, but the atmosphere is a hell of a lot better playing at Goodison Park now than it was for Benitez. And funny enough, this is what Marco Silva struggled with as well when he was at Everton, is the fact that he couldn't balance those two things. The end of Marco Silva's first season, he was absolutely fantastic at home. We beat the likes of Manchester United 4-0. But then we went to Fulham and we got beat 2-0. And we went to Crystal Palace and drew 0-0 late towards the end of the season. Which sort of meant there was not a chance we were going to get European football. When we had a little outside chance of it. And this is what Frank is struggling with as well. The away form is very, very poor when you think about it. We've had one win this season, Southampton. I think, he won one last season against Leicester. So the away form really is the Achilles heel for a lot of Everton managers. And you've got to find a way. If you have to change the way you play, you've got to find a way that suits you. And if that means not playing with two out and out wingers, then that means playing without two out and out wingers. Maybe Dwight McNeil would be better for away games because the way he plays isn't based on pace. It's based on, and I know that's counterproductive because we're trying to counter-attack. But the two players are so poor at keeping hold of the ball that they don't give you an opportunity to counter-attack. I mean, at one point in the second half there, we had a 4-on-4, I think, and Gordon had the ball, and he just gave it straight back to the opposition in the box. It was dreadful. So maybe we have to come up with a different way when we play away to come up with the points. Don't get me wrong, I am absolutely delighted we got a point out of this game in the end of it. Absolutely delighted with it because we didn't really deserve a point. Fulham missed a hell of a lot of chances in the game. And our defenders had to be, on it. I thought, once again, Tarkowski played well. I think Mikalenko was probably man of the match. The amount of blocks he made for crosses, because ultimately their threat was the crosses. It was getting the ball in the box for Mitrovic, who obviously loves pulling onto the fullback, which we've seen that today. He pulled off Tarkowski and pulled onto the back of Conor Cody and in front of Seamus Coleman. That's what he loves doing. So we had to stop the cross. So, yeah. And it was, obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin was, again, isolated again. Again, it's only his, second start. It's going to be difficult for him. I thought he looked on it early on. He had a great opportunity early on, pulled it back. It wasn't a brilliant pullback, but he did okay. He tired second half, I think. Again, playing as more as a low man this week, not having players up with them, that makes the job harder. So maybe this is something we have to look at. Maybe we have to change the way we play away from home. If we can't play 4-3-3, then maybe we have to look at something, or 4-2-3-1. Then maybe we have to look at something a little bit different, and maybe we play more of a diamond, or maybe we play try and get James Garner into the team, because what we missed today was actually just keeping hold of the ball. We just couldn't keep hold of the ball enough to work ourselves into the game. So that's something we really might have to look at for the away games. I certainly don't think it's working with Gray and Anthony Gordon, who were very, very poor in the second half, because they just don't work hard enough. They don't get back enough. And obviously today with having, well, the way they played, the overload, it just didn't work. So maybe that's something we have to look at going forward. Is that too much of a luxury, having two players, two wide players who don't offer you enough? Because ultimately, it's like last week for Palace, you know, they had 3 attacking players and 2. Well, to me, they had 5, but they couldn't get the ball. So it's very easy in midfield. We had more energy in midfield. We outnumbered them. It was almost the same today in a different way. Is that if we can't get the ball to Gray and to Gordon, or when they get the ball, they just waste it. Then what are we doing? We're not creating opportunities. I mean, we didn't create anything in that second half. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was offside, but he was having to play on the shoulder. I mean, I know he was offside a couple of times, but he's waiting for the pass to come through. And yes, he has to do better there. Of course, he has to do better in every opportunity, but there's no support for him at all. There wasn't any support for him at all, and no one was breaking with the ball. Iwobi just didn't pick the ball up and run with it or find the pass. So it was a really difficult second half. As I said, first half, I thought we were fine in the first half. I really did. I thought we had plenty of the ball. It was the game was toing and flowing the whole of that, the whole of the first half. But second half, we didn't do a tap, and obviously we had to rely massively. And obviously then on the defenders, and then it becomes about the subs then. And again, we really didn't have the subs. Obviously, Maupay came on for Gordon. That's not going to help you, is it? That's not going to. It doesn't. You're not playing the same way then. So I probably would have started Patterson as well. But listen, the manager knows the fitness of the fella. I thought when Patterson come on, we dealt a little bit better with their wide men. Not completely better, by the way. He did get had off a couple of times, but again, he's someone who's been out for a few weeks and has come back into the game. But I think maybe for the away games, we do look at starting McNeil, and maybe you've got then one wide man on the left-hand side whose job it is to just get crosses in, and on the other side you've got a bit more pace. I just don't think it works away from home with Gordon and Gray. I know we've had moments this season where we have played on the counter-attack, but I don't think consistently it works at all. And as I said, Gordon and Gray were really, really poor second half. So, and again, it's not, for me, again, with someone like McNeil, it's not about him being a winger. It's about keeping hold of the ball. It's about taking it down the left-hand side and put crosses in and maybe getting an end product. And today we just didn't have an end. Certainly in that second half, we had no end product. So it wasn't the greatest performance at all. So, yeah, there you go. I'll take a point. I will take a point all day long. That's all I can say. Whether we deserve the point is a different thing, but you don't always deserve what you get. So, or certainly we've been on the other end, haven't we? But again, that's one of those games where you might look at it and go, last season we probably would have got beat. This season we're taking a point. And that shows the defence then, doesn't it? That shows there's a lot more going for us at the back. So, yeah, there you go. Make sure, I'm hoping to get some videos from Baz, who was at the game. He sent me one at our time saying we should have been 5-0 up. So I'm hoping to get some videos from Baz that I can edit and put together. I'll be back to do my player ratings soon. So make sure you check that out. And there you go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in a bit.